This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am your host, Matt Allen, along with a lot of people in here today. I got a full house, but joining me again this weekend is Tim Nelson from my shop, Virginia Auto Service.
Good morning.
Good morning, Timmy. Thanks for spending your Saturday with us again. And again, as always, Bumper to Bumper Radio is here to help you, the motoring public, just have a better overall car ownership experience, whether it's getting your car fixed, maybe it was in an accident, you don't know what to do, maybe you went in for that oil change. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about some oil changes today. You know, you go in for the oil change and you always get the list, they find something wrong with your car. Well, if there's something wrong, that's what they're supposed to do. You hope that this shop has done their job and found something. If there was a problem, we certainly don't want them finding something that's not a problem. So I guess that's not finding something. That would be making it up. So I'll tell you what, if you're driving around today, look up at that sticker in your window and see when it says your oil was supposed to be changed. And then look down at the odometer, and I'm curious how close you are. How many thousands of miles are you over? Which brings us to what I want to talk about today, and that's really the oil change. How often are we supposed to be doing oil changes? The manufacturers say something. Your dad probably says something, or grandpa says something.
Or your coworker tells you something.
Yeah, the guy at the water cooler.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, the shop is going to say something. And you could probably ask 10 people. You'll get 5 different answers, and 4 of them are right. So we're going to dig into that. So if you want to participate, you have any questions, and it doesn't matter if it's about your oil change, your wheel bearing, or some other noise, or something happening with your car, 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. That's how you get a hold of us. Provided you're not driving and you want to text us a question or a comment, you can do that at 411-923, and we may just use your question on the air. I might feverishly type back an answer during the break and try and help you. So that's how you get a hold of the show. And when I said we have a full house today, we have another shop owner in, but he's not a local guy, and I'm not so sure he's going to get out of here safe because he's wearing a Seahawks jersey.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks, right? I bet you're not alone. I think there's going to be a lot of Hawks fans here in town, but with those sports guys a couple doors down, you're a pretty big guy, Dave. So I've got my friend Dave Earp here, and he's from Seattle. He owns a shop up there called Village Transmission. So if you're listening from Seattle, which I doubt you are, Village, is it Village Transmission and Auto, Dave?
Village Transmission and Auto Clinic.
Okay, Auto Clinic, okay, up in Seattle. So Dave may participate a little bit this morning, and so again, the oil change. The rule of thumb, what, Tim, 3,000 miles?
That's what it was for, seems like forever, but it's changed quite a bit now.
Yeah, 3,000 miles. Dave, what do you suggest at your shop up in Seattle? What do you do?
Well, there's been a lot of conflicting information, as you well know, Matt. Pretty much what we're sticking with is the 5,000-mile range. Is
right.
Kind of an even medium, better to be safe than sorry kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that you'll find very many owner's manuals anymore that say to change the oil every 3,000 miles. I think there's some Dodges, maybe with the Chargers and some of those, where there's still 3,000 miles. And this goes back a couple years, actually, since I've looked at those books. So I think the problem is not doing the oil change. Well, there's a problem with doing it too often, but also not often enough. And I guess my message there is if your manufacturer does say change the oil every 3,000 miles, you better be doing it every 3,000 because you may have a warranty issue or something like that. Where I deviate from the manufacturers, it's mostly in the German cars. Well, a lot of Cadillacs and maybe your higher end cars, they're going 10, 12, 15,000 miles on an oil change, and there's just no way. Dave, that may work the first couple times till 30, but Tim, what do we see once the cars start getting, if people follow that plan for the first 50,000 miles, what are the results usually?
catastrophic.
They could be catastrophic. Dave, do you see? I mean, you're seeing.
Absolutely. Here's the thing, Matt, is, the oil very well may be rated for 15,000 miles.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It can withstand that type of mileage interval. However, due to normal attrition, I mean, vehicles use oil. There's no question about it. So whether or not you're going to have enough oil after 15,000 miles brings up a different question.
Well, yeah, you could be consuming or burning the oil. You're just low. And some of these capacities on cars are only 4 quarts. I mean,
some are less. Yeah, 3.8 sometimes.
3.8. And now we're getting cars with, what do we want now? The manufacturers want higher horsepower. They want better fuel mileage, and so do we get. We get a smaller displacement engine, but what do we add to it? A turbocharger. And what do turbochargers need? Good oil.
Absolutely.
And like you said, Dave, the oil oftentimes, and we could probably drain the oil after 5,000 or 6,000 miles on a car. It would probably still pass the test, wouldn't you agree? It's still got the additive package and
absolutely.
But then as the car ages, what happens? We have wear and tear. You have maybe the oil gets contaminated with fuel, or you do short trips. Hey, we have our oil guy that comes on, Jason from Lab 1 comes on occasionally. His commute to work is only 4 miles. He drives a Dodge truck, big Dodge diesel. He intentionally takes a 13-mile trip out of the way to drive to work because he knows that 4-mile trip is not going to get the engine up to operating temperature. It's not going to get the oil hot enough, because what happens when we have combustion, we create condensation. The condensation goes in the oil, and then it turns into what? Acid. So now that you've got this acid in there, you need to get that oil hot to vaporize, get the water, the condensation boiled out of there and run through the crankcase system. So short trips cause that. If you have a car that's not just running just right, too much fuel, that's going to contaminate the oil, right, Dave?
Sure. And, a lot of people get hung up on mileage when they're buying a car. I don't want to get on a different subject, but high mileage isn't necessarily a bad thing. Low mileage can be a bad thing, specifically talking about, what you're saying with short trips and the acidity in the oil.
Yeah, so, you want to keep it clean. And it was several years ago. Most of your cars now, you follow the light. The light comes on, and it tells you change the oil, or oil service is due soon, not to be confused with your check engine light. That's something different. But Cadillac years ago started having all these problems with timing chains in their cars. The timing chains were wearing out, and there was a recall. Well, the recall had nothing to do with a mechanical fix of the engine. The recall was the technician brought out the computer, hooked it up to the car, and reprogrammed that computer to tell the oil change light to come on sooner. So it had nothing to do with a bad engine design. It had to do with the marketing department of General Motors wanting to make the cost of maintenance very low and the convenience. I mean, come on, people don't have a lot of time. You don't want to be spending your time in the auto repair shop, right? I mean, it's not always convenient. It's not a lot of fun to go spend money at the shop.
It's like you don't want to go to the dentist either.
Yeah.
But you got to keep you keep your teeth good. You want to keep your vehicle good.
Yeah. And the oil change, what I call it, is the cheapest insurance. I mean, we just shifted at my shop. We only do synthetic oil changes now, and our recommendation is 5,000 miles. Now, if you've got a BMW or a Mercedes or one of these ones that, some of those have a high capacity, 8-9 quarts of engine oil, they'll save 15,000 miles. Yeah, do that if you're going to lease the car for 4 years and go get a new one. But if you're planning on keeping your car and making good financial decisions around the car ownership, get ahead of it early, 5,000 miles. Because, again, we see these cars where people will go 15,000 miles, and then the second owner goes and gets this really good deal on this clean BMW, and they followed all the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations. I don't care if it's a BMW, a Rover, a Mercedes, or a Kia for that matter. Then the second owner finds out, wow, because that's what we start to see. The cars that have followed that guideline of the 15,000-mile oil change for the first 60 or 70,000 miles, we start to see failures in the 80, 90,000-mile range that you never see on the cars that where the oil was serviced every 5,000 miles. And what brings this topic to, I'll close out real quick, what brings this topic up, we have a Mini Cooper in the shop. The customer was somewhere else. They were told they needed some walnut blasting and some engine decarbon cleaning done to make it run better. It really lacked power. This car only has 55,000 miles on it. And that is the case a lot of times. This particular shop happened to misdiagnose this car, and what happened, it has a timing chain failure. But guess what? This car came in, had very little oil in the crankcase, only 55,000 miles, and they have been following the Mini guidelines. As a matter of fact, when I talked to her yesterday, told her what was happening, and gave her our advice moving forward on doing the oil changes, she said, something didn't make sense. Every time I went in, I said I needed an oil change. And she said, oh, no, you don't. Well, she didn't according to the manufacturer's book, but in the reality part of life, she should have been getting an oil change every 5,000 miles. And had that happen, we probably wouldn't be making the kind of repair that we're going to make on her car. So 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. That's how you get a hold of us. You're listening to Bumper to Bumper Radio. We'll be right back.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty and I is for integrity. We've built our business on these two principles.
Hi, this is Danny Grant.
And I'm Paul Garcia.
We're Spencer's business partners. Originally, we were customers that were referred by friends to check out this great shop in Mesa. We saw for ourselves how special the experience was at H&I.
Yep, we went from raving fans to good friends to enthusiastic partners when Spencer was looking to expand his business to the East Valley.
Thanks, guys. The overwhelming support from our customers, families, and partners has allowed us to celebrate the opening of our second, brand-new, state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value that you can count on for all your automotive needs. Backed with an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. We invite you to check us out at HNIautomotive.com.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Some say one of the worst sounds you can hear is a car crash.
Yes, and all the stress that goes with that can be worse.
The accident is stressful enough. The repair process doesn't have to be. Hi, this is Kevin,
Dave,
and Leo,
and we're the collision team at Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Individually, we own Campus Body Salon, I-17 Collision, and First Class Auto Body. Together, we're an unbeatable team working for you, not the insurance company, to get your job done right. Check us out at bumpertobumperradio.com.
All right, this is, Carrie, I always wonder your music. I got my friends in with me, so we get a little bit of friends music. So
there's always an angle with Carrie.
A couple of reasons for this.
Okay. You're always on point. So what's the
friends
reason?
Are here,
right?
Okay, friendship, and we'll be there for you in the car business,
right? That's
on top of that. 25 years ago this past week, Friends made its debut.
Oh, you see, it was Batman last week. Carrie, you are a wealth of useless information.
And here's the incredible fact. So it's been off the air for 15 years.
Wow.
It still makes Warner Brothers Studios $1 billion a year in rerun fees.
Friends does. Wow.
Friends does. And each cast member gets paid exactly what Matt does.
Nothing.
$20 million a year.
Oh, I thought it was nothing because I'm in the I get paid nothing category.
Anyway.
You
don't make $20 million a year, man? I'm just...
Oh, well, if I did, maybe I would be here every Saturday still. But by the way,
friends.
That's right. Speaking of every Saturday, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm your host, Matt Allen, your KTAR car guy. Tim Nelson from my shop, Virginia Auto Services, joining. And I got a couple guys in here from Seattle. They're down for the Cardinals game. A buddy of mine, Dave, who owns a shop up in the Seattle area, and hopefully they make it out alive. I think some of the sports guys are waiting for them by the door.
All I can say is go Hawks.
The hate mail is going to come. So Anyway, we talked about oil changes, and it doesn't matter what we're talking about. The show is to help you with your car. We talked about oil changes. Do I need to do it every 3,000? Should I use synthetic? What about not using synthetic? What weight of oil goes in my car? All these questions. But maybe you've got a question about your differential or why your brakes make noise or what that thumpity thump is when you're making a right-hand turn every other Tuesday. We can help navigate through some of those problems. 602-277-5827 is how you call us and get involved here. We've got a couple callers here. We've got Jay and Fran, and we are going to first go with Simon and all the way from Safford with a 93 Jeep Cherokee. Simon, how can we help you today?
So a couple days ago, my Jeep started not wanting to shift out of first gear first thing in the morning when I started up. It gets about 25 miles an hour before it shift, and it do that 2 or 3 times, and then it starts shifting fine, like normal. Mm-hmm. And this happened after about 2 weeks ago. My transmission fluid was a little bit low, so I added some to it. About a week later, when I checked it again, it was low again, so I added more to it. I took it into the shop 500 miles early for my oil change. It was at 2,500 miles. And I let them know that, I was losing some transmission fluid for them to check it out. They said they couldn't see any leakage anywhere fresh oil was leaking, to keep an eye on it. And then they said 2 days ago, it doesn't shift out of first gear until I get to about over 25 miles an hour.
And is the fluid level full when it's not shifting like that?
That's the first thing I checked, and it was still full.
Okay.
And I've been keeping an eye on it every day, and it's still full. It's not low.
Okay.
And I turn it on, I let it run, and then I check it.
I got you. Well, it's a good thing we've got another Dave in here today. Dave Riccio is taking a little bit of time off, and he's our transmission expert. But my buddy Dave from Seattle just happens, his shop is Village Transmission and Auto Clinic. That's something that sound familiar to you on that Jeep, Dave?
Absolutely. The first question I have for you is, are you checking the transmission while idling in neutral to make sure that it is full?
No, it was in park. It wasn't in neutral.
Okay, well, Chrysler products require that you check the transmission while in neutral.
Yeah, so that's the first thing.
I think you're low on fluid.
Yeah. So, and remember, we always say it's not your father's Oldsmobile. Dave, let's talk about how you check. Well, I want to dig into Simon's question a little bit more.
Sure.
So you got to make sure the fluid's full. So no matter what your car is, so you kind of got to forget what Dad told you. Always have it in the back of your head, but go to the owner's manual and check the procedure for that transmission fluid and make sure it's full. Now, the other problem he still has the symptom of not shifting, and that could be a number of things. It could be because it's low in fluid. For emissions control, but I don't think going back to 93, as the temperature gets cooler, they do not want that car to shift into second gear until the temperature of the engine gets a little bit higher. That first gear shift is delayed on cars that where the temperature is colder, because what does the EPA want and the manufacturers? We want low emissions, so we've got to get that car to operating temperature as fast as possible. So other than that, the question is, where's that transmission fluid going?
Well, is this a four-wheel drive?
Well, yeah, we don't know. Probably is. Simon's been put back on hold. So there's a couple places, Dave. Where's that transmission fluid?
Well, if it's not leaking on the ground, it's going into the transfer case.
Right.
Transmissions do not burn fluid.
Yeah, they do not consume. So if it was going out the vent tube, you would see it somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be going out the cooler into the radiator.
That's a possibility.
But if you pop your radiator cap and find a strawberry milkshake in there, or your dipstick tube on the transmission, you've got bigger problems.
We know that immediately.
Yeah, you're going to know that. So good call, Dave. You'd be checking your transfer case fluid and make sure that the tail shaft housing of the transmission is not leaking and filling, and it would be overfilling the transfer case.
Yeah, check the fill plug on the transfer case. If you pull that out and fluid absolutely spills out, we know what's going on. We're swapping fluids between the transmission and the transfer case.
Yep, exactly. So, Simon, good luck with that. If you need a shop, I know you're in Safford. Hopefully you've got somebody up there that can take care of you. And for everybody else listening that doesn't have an auto repair home, you can find one at bumpertobumperradio.com.
There is a shop here that I'm aware of. It's called Shift Right Transmission in Mesa and Queen Creek.
Yeah. Well, that's not close to where he is, but we're going to go with Fran in Mesa. Fran's got a 1990 Toyota Camry. Fran, how can we help you?
Hi. Actually, I have your oil change problem. I went in. This 99 Camry, I bought it brand new in 99, and it has 124,534 miles on it.
Right down the mile, right?
Yes. Okay. I had my oil changed last January, and then I was in for a couple of different things, door latch and such, and they said everything is fine. I said, do I need my oil change? They said, no, you don't have enough miles on it. I did not have 3,000 miles on it September 1.
Fran, how many miles do you think you drive your car annually?
About 5,000 or 6,000.
About 5,000 or 6,000. It's not much.
Yeah, short trips mostly. But they checked everything out, and then they said, naturally, my hoses are getting soft. I could agree with that. But he said, while it was on the hoist, he has some valve cover leakage. And he says, you got oil dripping. I have no oil on my driveway. The other day, I went 50 miles and came home and parked it, and then a few hours later, I went out and checked because I thought maybe it's never gotten hot enough, you know?
Sure.
But I don't have any oil leaking.
Okay. Well, there's Fran, is that a V6 or a four-cylinder engine? Four-cylinder? Okay. Well, we may not have enough time to do all of you justice, but you've brought up some points that I really want to talk about. So that's a good set of questions there, and I'm going to get to some of it. Number one, you're just not driving your car very much. Tim, we have a lot of customers like Fran at our shop, and what do we typically do? I mean, we're going to do a twice a year oil change,
Twice
maybe?
a year, yep.
Or if you're only driving 5,000 miles a year, we're going to let's just say it's January. We're going to do your oil change in January, but we want to see you back around May, right when it's going to hit 100 degrees. And we don't need to do the oil change. Maybe we're going to go through top off fluids and tires and check pressures and such. And then that should carry you to your next oil change. There's a lot more to talk about with Fran's call. You're listening to Bumper Radio, and we'll pick that up in just a couple minutes when we come back.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
I listened regularly to Bumper Radio and knew that they only referred the best shops. So when my beloved 2007 Honda Accord was hit recently, I simply went to BumperToBumperRadio.com. Hi, this is Sarah from North Phoenix. Even though it was not the closest shop to my home, I chose Campus Auto Body Salon. I did my homework. I liked that they've been in business since 1973 and was impressed with their outstanding customer reviews. Every customer was completely satisfied. I even went to 2 other non-Bumper to Bumper Radio shops first. Then I went to Campus Auto Body Salon. Wow, what a difference. I met with the owner, Leo Petrozella. He was easy to talk to, gave me an initial estimate right on the spot, and handled all of the negotiations with the insurance company. Leo communicated with me throughout the repair process, and I could not have been more pleased with the outcome. The paint match, fit, and finish exceeded my expectations. If you've been in an accident, your first and only call should be to Campus Auto Body Salon.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
KTAR News Time. It's 11:30. I'm Amy Pohl. KTAR Eyes on the Economy. Arizona's gas price has been climbing since the attack on a major Saudi oil production center earlier this month. Now refinery outages in California will cause more pain at the pumps. Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan says
it's about 5 cents higher than a week ago. So far, refinery issues haven't hit Arizona as hard as California, where average prices have jumped 10 cents in the last 3 days.
It could be worse. He expects California to reach $4 a gallon soon. KTAR Eyes on the Economy. 28% of Latino families nationwide are spending half of their incomes on rent. A new report from Unidos US says they need better access education and jobs, but they also fear deportation and pursuing better opportunities. The charitable group says more stable and affordable housing, especially through ownership, will help these families build wealth. Now for a check on traffic. Here's Mike Daniels live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thanks, Amy. In surprise, we do have an injury accident involving a motorcycle on Litchfield Road south of Waddell, and we've got a crash at R.H. Johnson Boulevard east of Meeker Boulevard. This traffic report brought to you by Valley Toyota Dealers. Now is a great time to get a new Toyota with special cashback offers on our most popular models like RAV4, Tacoma, and Highlander. Visit your Valley Toyota Dealers or valleytoyotadealers.com today. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Today's forecast, it's 82 degrees in Peoria, sunny with your high at 90. Tonight, it's mostly clear with your low at 70. Sunday, 20% chances for rain with your high at 87. Sunday night, it'll be clear with your low at 65. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Amy Pohl on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
This month's KTAR Community Impact Spotlight shines a light on Camelback Subaru and their ongoing support for Phoenix Children's Hospital. Phoenix Children's mission is to provide hope, healing, and health care for children and their families. They're the premier regional pediatric center in the Southwest and are nationally recognized as one of the best for pediatric care, innovative research, and medical education. Camelback Subaru is proud to support Phoenix Children's in their efforts to meet the needs of our growing community. Thanks to Camelback Subaru, this month's KTAR Community Impact Spotlight honoree.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Hello, this is Jerry Colangelo. When I moved to Phoenix in 1968, the iconic golf courses at the Wigwam and the Arizona Biltmore golf clubs were a few of my favorites. A few years ago, my partners and I purchased these historic Arizona golf courses with the goal of putting the shine back on these extraordinary properties. Today, I'm proud of what has been accomplished and invite you to experience the Wigwam Golf Club and the Arizona Biltmore Golf Club for yourself. Visit wigwamgolf.com or azbiltmoregc.com for tee times and information.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a Perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Hi, this is Weston Holm from Blue Clover Distillery, Old Town Scottsdale's first micro distillery and the home for the very best premium vodka and gin spirits. We invite you to come join us as we celebrate our passion for good times, good food, and great spirits at our location just off of Indian School Road and Marshall Way in Old Town Scottsdale. Blue Clover is a chilled out, industrial meets farmhouse atmosphere serving unforgettable premium spirits and an award-winning gastropub fare with a southwestern kick. Blue Clover Vodka and Gin. Be bold, be different, and get lucky.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Alrighty, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am your host, Matt Allen. I got a full house of guests here today. We've got Tim Nelson from my shop, Virginia Auto Service. We hauled some Seattle boys down to help fill out. I'm in a business development group, and my buddy Dave Earp is here. He used to be in my group, and he owns a shop up in Seattle called Village. I always slaughter it, Dave. What is it again?
Village Transmission and Auto Clinic.
Village Transmission and Auto Clinic. And you used to do just transmission, and then you transitioned into doing everything.
That's right. You know, back in the early days, we saw the transmission industry dying, and we had to make an adjustment. And that's what we do as business owners. We've got to adjust with the times.
Every single day, we're adjusting to have the best practices, to take care of our customers the best way we can. And hey, we don't want you as a customer one time. We want you. We want you for the rest of your life, hopefully. We want your friends. We want your neighbors. So every single day when we're at our prospective shops, we are trying to provide you with the best service. So if you are looking for a repair shop, and, you know, we have a term we call the auto repair orphan. You just go here when this problem, and you go here when this happens, or you come to some other place because you got the coupon for the $9 oil change, which you should stay away from that. That should have that little poison symbol, like the rat poisoning on that coupon. So don't be an orphan. You need to find an auto repair shop that can take care of all your auto repair needs, and it's a place where you can ask questions. Maybe they don't fix upholstery, but you want to have the guy that you can call and say, hey, Matt, or hey, Dave, or Tim, you got a referral for an upholstery guy, or you need a body shop, or you need whatever. That's very valuable to have. You wouldn't take your kids to a new pediatrician every time. Don't take your car to a new mechanic every time. So as we always say, if you have a great mechanic, stay there. It's a valuable relationship. If you need one, bumpertobumperradio.com, you'll find one. And we can help you with any of those questions before you make it to the shop, or maybe you made it to the shop and you're not so sure about what they said, or maybe they didn't do a good job of explaining. We can maybe help you walk through that at 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. And again, you can always text at 411-923. So I want to go back to Fran. Fran from Mesa. And by the way, Jay and Ugo will get to you shortly here. But I want to go back to Fran's conversation. We first started talking about oil changes, and Fran only drives her 99 Camry a few thousand miles a year, literally 5,000 or 6,000 miles in an entire year. And so how often does she need her oil changed? At my shop, we usually do, we'll tell people come in every 6 months.
Yep, every 6 months, but we might not do the oil change.
Exactly.
Every 6 months, you know.
Yeah, because that oil in Fran's car is just fine. But what it is, it's the things that go along with the oil change. And we take that example of maybe that 10 or 12 or 15,000 mile service interval that a Mercedes or a BMW or Audi or whatever your luxury car is. Sometimes we see the car fall apart around the oil change, right, Dave?
Absolutely.
Because part of doing, and this, you know what, and you said this before the show started, Dave, we're not changing oil only. You have to view this as a service. And the service that we provide is, yes, changing the oil, but also making sure that there's nothing else wrong or going to go wrong with the car so you can make it to the next service interval.
Are you out of washer fluid? Are your tires low? I mean, there's so many things that go along with an oil service.
Yeah, it's just not pulling the drain plug and squirting some new oil in.
And here in Arizona, the battery.
Yeah. We test the battery every single time.
Whether you come in for a tire repair or an engine, your battery gets tested.
Yeah, exactly. But back to Fran's car. So she had her car in. Sounds like she has her shop that she goes to. And they told her she has an oil leak. And one of the things that we always encourage you as the consumer to do is ask questions. And if you have a shop that doesn't like to do show and tell or doesn't like to answer questions, that may not be the right shop. Dave, I don't know how you are. I love to take customers out to the shop and show them the problem with their car.
Well, and with modern technology, I mean, what we're doing now with video and pictures and everything else, I mean, we can show the customers what we're seeing on the big screen. We don't have to take them out to the shop.
Right. Yeah, we do. Well, you do the same program I use. We use our digital inspections. But Fran's question was, they said, I have an oil leak. And she says, I never see the oil on the ground. So that's the question where you have to have that open dialogue with your service advisor and say, no, let's talk about a leak. I mean, we can have a leak that, if I cut myself with a paper cut, by definition, a little drop of blood comes out, I'm leaking blood. But you know what? I can just lick that, and it goes away. I can also get stabbed, and I'm leaking blood too. That's a pretty serious leak.
So we categorize that from a 1 to 5 scale, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And so Fran may very well have an oil leak. It's just not making it to the ground yet. So maybe Fran doesn't need an oil change, and maybe in 6 months or next time she does get her oil change, she asks them, hey, I was told I had a little bit of oil leakage. Can you show that to me? And one of the other things we have, sometimes there's spark plug tube seals, and the way that the engines are designed, you could have oil leaking into an area where it will never, ever drip onto the ground, and it won't cause the engine to be low enough on oil. However, it is a leak. So that's where the open dialogue and the open communication comes with your service advisor. So, Fran, I hope that we gave you enough information there where you can go have a good conversation and get that oil leak problem figured out. So we're going to go with a very, very patient Jay from Santan Valley who's been on hold for a while. He's got a 2008 Honda Odyssey. Jay, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
Well, I have a couple of questions, probably. First would be what does the rear wheel alignment, not what does it do necessarily, but what will it cause if the alignment is out?
Okay. And then what was it? You had another question?
Another question would be the transmission cooler. I heard someone on there, probably the fellow from Tri-City Transmissions, say that the transmission cooler should be installed on the Odysseys.
Yep.
And thus far at $140,000, I haven't.
Okay, well, we can dig into that a little bit. So on a rear wheel alignment, Jay, we're never going to align just the rear wheels. What we're doing is we're doing a four-wheel alignment. And traditionally, you just did a front wheel alignment, and that would align. I mean, look down at your feet, and if you can make them point directly straight ahead, they're in alignment. But if you twist your body, the tires are still going straight, but your body's walking crooked, if you will. So then they start doing thrust aligns. We line the tires, but then align them to the center of the car. And then you come with your front-wheel drive car. Now all of a sudden we've got a rear axle that's not a drive axle. You just got wheels that you're dragging behind. So we need to do a four-wheel alignment. And typically the symptom of a bad four-wheel alignment is just like dunk, 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 right? A lot of road noise from the tires.
Or tire scrubbing, right? I mean, You're getting wear on the inside edges.
Yeah, so take an extreme example. Take a tire and just roll it straight. It's going to roll nice and smooth. You turn that tire 5 degrees and make it still go straight. You are dragging that tire. That would be an extreme example. So most of the time you're going to get a symptom of tire wear. And the rear tires may look like someone took an ice cream scoop and just kind of scooped every other tread off. And what I notice when they're out of alignment, besides the symptom of the noise, you can actually stand back and look at the tire tread. And you'll see one is black, and then the next one over has dust on it. And then the next one is darker black, and then there's dust. And that's because that tire is not 100% coming in contact with the road. As far as the Honda Odyssey transmission, the problem with some of that is you've got a smaller transmission, right, Dave? A transmission that was designed for a car, and they put it in a van.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Honda Accord transmission in a van.
Yeah. So heat is the killer of transmissions. In transmission fluid.
It is the enemy.
The enemy. Just like you are the enemy with that Seahawks jerseys sitting in this radio station.
Go Hawks.
I can't believe it. So, yeah, Jay, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted to get a transmission cooler on there, and that will help preserve the life of that transmission, especially if you're loading up all the kids and doing all this stuff and having a heavy load in the car. Keeping the transmission cool is going to help it last. We're going to get Ugo, I hope I said that right, on a 2016 Kia Optima. Ugo, how can we help you today? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hello, thank you for having me on. So I just got this car, and I looked up the record, and I did not see anything about any transmission servicing. Mm-hmm. I'm just asking for general advice on what to do about the transmission. It has 60,000 miles on it right now.
It does have 60,000. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, we're always going to say look in the book and see what the book says. And then you're going to want to look under severe service and normal service. Severe service is typically defined as high temperatures, dusty conditions, towing, things like that.
Pretty much everything you have here in Arizona.
Pretty much we have everything. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to find a lot of cars will have a lifetime fill in the transmission, and I always make fun of that. Yeah, the transmission fluid's good till the unit blows up, and then it's no good. So, and transmission fluids are not easy to check anymore. A lot of the cars don't have dipsticks. I think as a general rule of thumb, 30 to 50,000 miles would be a service interval on a car that you're going to intend to keep for a long time. Just somewhere in that range. Dave, 100,000 miles is what a lot of them are saying, and a lifetime fill on some, which is
well,
crazy.
Matt, I don't want to get into that whole subject of lifetime fluid, right, because we could talk about that for hours.
Right.
It's basically something that the OE came out with to keep the cost of maintenance low, and we know that is, not something to abide by. Typically, 30,000 miles is a great interval for, heavy-duty conditions.
Yeah, severe duty or heavy duty. And if you're just cruising around your Kia Optima, maybe it's 50,000. But whatever it is, I like to cut it, do it at a service interval. So you do one at 50, do the next one at 100. Don't do it at 51,800. Or, just my point is I like to keep things dumbed down and simple.
Absolutely.
And again, Ugo, don't go shopping around. Find your home. Let them do it. They'll maintain the records for you and everything. So that's what I would do. 30 to 50,000 is a good rule of thumb. Thanks for the call. We've got Jake and William, and maybe time for one more, a room for one or two more at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Bumper Radio. We'll be right back.
Some say one of the worst sounds you can hear is a car crash.
Yes, and all the stress that goes with that can be worse.
The accident is stressful enough. The repair process doesn't have to be. Hi, this is Kevin,
Dave,
and Leo,
and we're the collision team at Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Individually, we own Campus Body Salon, I-17 Collision, and First Class Auto Body. Together, we're an unbeatable team working for you, not the insurance company, to get your job done right. Check us out at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty and I is for integrity. We built our business on these two principles.
Hi, this is Danny Grant.
And I'm Paul Garcia.
We're Spencer's business partners. Originally, we were customers that were referred by friends to check out this great shop in Mesa. We saw for ourselves how special the experience was at H&I.
Yep, we went from raving fans to good friends to enthusiastic partners when Spencer was looking to expand his business to the East Valley.
Thanks, guys. The overwhelming support from our customers, families, and partners has allowed us to celebrate the opening of our second, brand-new, state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value that you can count on for all your automotive needs. Backed with an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. We invite you to check us out at HNIautomotive.com.
This is Tim Forsyth, and I developed Birdie Juice to help you feel better and play longer. Unlike most energy drinks that contain high amounts of synthetic caffeine, Birdie Juice contains natural green tea caffeine that is absorbed by your body in a steady manner, promoting a sustainable energy boost and mental clarity. Visit us online at mybirdiejuice.com and use promo code BUNKER for 20% off your first order. That's mybirdiejuice.com and use promo code BUNKER for 20% off your first order.
Statements not evaluated by the FDA, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
All right, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, here along with Tim Nelson and a couple of my buddies from Seattle.
And Carrie brought some music in there from Seattle.
Yeah, Carrie,
I think that's what that was.
A little grunge, baby.
Yeah.
Did you make a last-minute shift, Carrie, or what? This guy's on the ball.
Always.
This is producer Carrie here, hanging out and keeps helps keep the show entertaining, got the good music going, and so on and so forth, and can always chime in with some excellent, useless information. That's what I'm here for. So, and by the way, we're here for you. Bumper to Bumper Radio every single Saturday at 11 or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at bumpertobumperradio.com. You can find some information there. There's maybe a video clip. And what the other thing that's there is all of the shows are there on a podcast, and I'm pretty sure you can go in and search. So maybe you got an overheating problem, you can go search coolant or radiator or overheat and listen to one of the shows, and maybe we covered your topic. So, and if not, find the Bumper to Bumper Radio shop in your neighborhood and call them up and say, hey guys, I live in the neighborhood. I need a home. I've got a question. Can I stop in and talk to you? Maybe you can help us out, and I'm sure they will. So. Let's see here. Jake in Mesa is going to be the first one in this segment. Jake's got a 1990 GMC Sierra. Jake, how can we help you?
Good. How you doing? Hey, I got old Dave there from Seattle. He's serviced that old GMC of mine for 20 years. I can vouch for that shop.
Oh, is that right?
Before I came down here. Yeah, but I always forget to ask him. That old Jimmy, when I put it in four-wheel drive, the indicator light comes on, and it says it's in four-wheel drive, but it's not. Is there like a solenoid switch down there somewhere or something that would let the light come on saying I was in four-wheel drive when it's really not engaging?
Yeah, but first I got to clarify something. Jake, are you seriously telling me that you live in Phoenix now and you used to take your truck to Village Transmission in Seattle?
Yes, I used to live right down the road from his shop.
Dave's trying to. I could see Dave's face just trying to picture your face, but maybe you dealt with his dad back in the day.
Hey, what color was that truck, Jake?
Rusty.
Aren't they all? Well, I'll tell you what. If that's not like a coincidence and a miracle that we have a listener and a friend in here, I don't know what is. But Jake, on your GMC Sierra, so there's going to be a button that you're going to push to put it into four-wheel drive or however that works. And part of pushing that button, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, it's going to turn on the light to tell you it happened. But the other thing is that message needs to get down to the controller. Dave, there's some kind of controller on either on the transfer case or on the 90. I can't even picture that one. It's going to be on the differential, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what's going on here, Jake. So when you shift that transfer case into four-wheel drive, there's a switch on the transfer case to alert the message to turn on. Pretty simple open and close switch, right? That turns the light on. And your transfer case is in four-wheel drive. However, you have an actuator, a front differential actuator on the front of that differential that has probably seized up over time, due to the age of the vehicle. It most likely is going to need a front differential actuator.
Yeah. So, Jake, you're in Mesa. Maybe you've established a new repair shop relationship. And so take it in. That's not anything that's super sophisticated.
No.
Again, it's just a couple electronics testing. You're going to spend, it wouldn't be unreasonable to spend $100 to kind of diagnose and figure it out. And some people may just wrap the diagnostic and the repair and the bill all into one. But probably not anything too terribly difficult to figure out. So thanks for the call, Jake, and I still can't believe you're a former customer of
That's
a friend
unbelievable.
who just happens to be here. So we're going to take William in Avondale, and he's got a 2013 Mini Cooper, and I bet if he was listening in the beginning, he's wondering about how often he should be changing his oil. William?
Hello. Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, my girlfriend was driving the Mini Cooper. The oil light came on, and it kept coming on, so she kind of pulled over. Then the engine light came on. She pulled over, checked it out, and saw that the whole oil was dumped from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the month before that, we took it to the dealership to get an oil change. So we're wondering if maybe something happened at the dealership, or it was just a coincidence that, it.
Sure, but let me ask you, what do you mean by the whole oil was dumped from the bottom? Was this thing just it just bleeding oil out, like running out, or what happened?
Yes. So she said that she took a look under the hood, and under the car, and there was oil everywhere, and it was just dripping down, like really bad. And so, she panicked, and we don't know if we should have taken it back to the dealership where they did the oil change, but she took it to a BMW mom-and-pop service center, and that's where the car is now. So we don't know if it happened because of the dealership or it was just coincidence that,
Well, what did the mom-and-pop shop say?
Well, they're going to look at it,
Okay.
they're going to look at it until Monday, so
Okay, so
we don't know yet.
So here's what we're going to do, and I say we, that's you too. We're not going to jump to any conclusions. I mean, it's very possible that something happened or didn't happen as a result of the last person that serviced the car. One of the things that I think of immediately is maybe they left the oil cap off the car. There could be oil, that would fling oil underneath the hood. It'd be dripping from the top of the hood. It'd be everywhere. But at the same time, on the Mini, that's a sealed system. So if the oil cap is off or even the dipstick tube is pulled out, the car may not run right.
Not going to run very well,
Yeah,
is it?
that is actually considered to be a vacuum leak. Even just having the oil cap gasket not sealing properly will create an oil leak. So probably, William, what's going to happen is if this was in my shop, we're going to start by making sure the oil cap is on, making sure the oil filter didn't fall out, make sure the oil drain plug is there, and then we're going to get the proper amount of oil in it. Depending on how messy it is, just do some sort of cleanup, right, Dave? I mean,
and I really think it's a good thing that you took it to a separate shop to get to the bottom of what's going on, as opposed to bringing it back to the dealership where this just happened. Let's get a second opinion here and find out what's going on. But Matt, you're right. Let's not jump to any conclusions here.
Yeah.
Let the shop do their due diligence and get to the bottom of what's going on.
Yeah, and whether it's the oil cap, so they'll clean it up. They're going to put it up on the lift. They're going to start it up, and they're going to find out. And then once we have information, then we know what to do. I'm going to contradict Dave what you say a little bit. I'm glad. I mean, it just so happened it went to an independent shop. But whenever you have your car fixed, if there's a problem, now this was something where you had to have the car towed, the light came on. You got to get to a shop. But whenever you have a problem, always have a reasonable conversation with the shop that works. Don't call the shop going, you dirty SOBs, and this and happened, and going both barrels at them. Let's have a reasonable adult conversation. Reasonable people can come up with good, reasonable, fair results, and we fix things up. Maybe no harm, no foul. Or maybe maybe they left the oil cap off, they apologize, they pressure wash it, they clean it all up. Maybe they pay the bill at this other place. You never know. But let's find out exactly what happened before we start pointing fingers, and then work it out. And always just be cool, because when you're cool, the owner's cool, the service manager's cool, and everything works out. So thanks again for joining us, everybody. Thanks for being part of Bumper to Bumper Radio, and thank you, Tim. Dave, I hope the Seahawks lose tomorrow.
Go Hawks.
And we'll see you next week.